Good. How are you?
Good. My name is Napier. I'm the behavioral health consultant here at the clinic. And Dr. Allen wanted me to talk to you a little bit about what's going on. So can you just tell me in your own words?
Well, I sustained an injury to my ACL this past football season, and it caused me a lot of pain mentally and physically, so I started drinking.
Okay. So you like football? Is that
Yeah, I've been playing football since I was like 6 years old.
okay? Let me make sure I got this right. So you're a football player. Sounds like football is important to you, and you sustained an injury, and it sounds like the injury is pretty severe, and that kind of led you to drink. Is that accurate? Okay. And how long have you been drinking?
Well, I've been drinking really since ninth grade, but more recently it's been picking up. I'd say past 6 months or so.
Okay. So drinking is not new. It's something that you've been doing. It's just that with this recent issue with the injury affecting you playing your sport, it's kind of picked up.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So tell me how you feel about just drinking.
Well, it numbs the pain. Whenever I'm stressed out or whenever I ever get frustrated about not being able to play football again, I just pick up a beer.
Okay.
It makes everything better. Not everything, but it makes it.
So alcohol is something that you kind of go to kind of make things seem a little better.
Yes, sir.
So tell me a little bit about the good things about drinking alcohol.
The good things is whenever I drink, I can't be bothered by anything. No matter what happens, I'm always just calm.
Okay. So tell me some of the things that may be less good.
Well, more recently I've had to drink a lot more to get where I want to go. And because I've lost a ton of money, I've lost my job, my girlfriend left me, my parents are just about ready to kick me out of the house.
Okay. So in some ways, the drinking has kind of eased some of the problems that you've been having, but it also sounds like in multiple other ways, it's created even more problems.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, if you recall, before you came in to see me, the doctor had you work with one of the other staff members to fill out a screening. And I was wondering if you'd be okay with me talking to you a little bit about the screening and sharing the results with you.
No problem.
Okay. So the screening that you did, I have it right here. It's the nickname of it is the ASSIST. It's called the Alcohol and Substance Involvement Screening Test. Okay. And so what that does is it helps us to identify, to talk to you a little bit about kind of where you are with the drinking and or any other things that are going on related to alcohol, smoking, substance use, so have you. And so what it indicates here is that you are drinking about how much would you say you drink in a normal daily?
Six beers, maybe.
6 beers. And what size are those beers? Are those 12-ounce beers, 40-ounce beers?
Probably about 12-ounce beers.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So going through the screening, you scored high enough so that you would be what is considered a high-risk drinker. Okay? And I'm going to kind of, I don't want you to be alarmed about that, but I do want to kind of explain to you why that's the case. So I have a couple of visual aids that we can look at. So here, this one talks about low drinking limits, okay? And as you can see, this says in a single day for the average man, the amount is probably about 4 drinks per day. And that can be a 12-ounce beer, that could be 8 or 9 ounces of malt liquor, it could be wine, it could be a shot, depending on which one of those. Any one of those is a single serving. And you said you're at 6, right?
Right.
Yeah, so that's, as you can see, that's a little over. And how many times per week do you drink?
Daily now.
Okay, so if you're drinking 6 beers a day, daily, then that's gonna be, not the greatest at math, but that's what, 24? 6, no, that's 6 times 7. What is 6 times 7?
42.
42. And so this is saying is 14 is the amount of drinks that would be considered a low risk amount. So it sounds like you're kind of well over that amount. What do you think about that?
I definitely do need to calm down.
Yeah, one other aid just kind of shows you where that would be considered high risk in about 5% of the population, depending on age. For someone your age, a high school kid, a young adult, it's a little less. It's between 1.8 and 3% of adults are considered high risk, and that means that you may be at the point where you're probably dependent on alcohol. Do you find that? Do you have any thoughts on it? If you feel like you're able to just stop?
I can't. I've tried several times. I've tried to get rid of it. I've tried to hide my money so that I wouldn't be able to grab it and go to the store, but I always end up finding a way to get it.
Okay. Well, that must be really terrible for you to have to go through. That sounds like a really big challenge for someone who, a couple of months ago was really just kind of focusing on the next stage of life. Sounds like playing football was the thing that was going to get you where you wanted to go, and all this stuff has happened, and things are just, you find yourself in a whole different situation. And I'm sorry that you're having to go through that. Well, I had a question for you. So down here at the bottom of this visual aid that I showed you before is called a readiness ruler. So you see it starts from 0 and it goes all the way to 10. So on a scale of 1 to 10, where would you think that you are in terms of addressing the challenges that you're having with the alcohol?
Say about a 9 or 10. I've been ready for a while. I just don't know how to go about doing it.
9 or 10, that's great. That's really good. Question, why is it a 9 or 10? Why is it not, say, like a 4 or 5?
Because I know I need to change, but I've just been sweeping it under the rug because I don't know how I can cope without drinking.
Okay. Well, we can certainly talk to you about things that you may or may not want to consider. If it's okay with you, I would love to share some information with you on things that have worked for other folks that have come in here and wanted to address challenges with drinking and substances.
Yes, please.
Is that all right? Okay. So because you come to the clinic regularly, we before I met with you and I got all this information, we took the time to check out your insurance to make sure that we know what would be applicable. But in this case, in your case, we have a couple of programs that are state-funded programs, so there will be no cost to you or your parents. And of course, you'd have to, check with your school and all of that about, taking some time off from school. But the programs are Adult and Teen Challenge. These are just a couple of programs. There are many programs, but these are some that have worked for some of the clients that we work with. The Centacor program and pathways to recovery.
I had a friend who went to Pathways and he really changed.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna go with that one.
So you would be interested in considering that program?
Yes, definitely.
All right. Well, I tell you what we can do is we can help you with that. We happen to know the staff over there very well, and then when we conclude this meeting, we can go and give them a call. Let them know that you want to come. I will coordinate getting them all the necessary paperwork. We'll sit down with your parents and educate them on the whole process. And even after you enter the program, I'll even follow up and check in with you afterwards. How does that sound?
I mean, sounds fine. It's just as long as everyone doesn't have to know how bad it got.
Well, everything in these type of programs is completely confidential. Your information is protected. So even in a situation like this one where you and I are talking, the only things that I will tell your parents are the things that you want me to tell them. If you don't want anybody to know about what's going on, then I'm not obligated to tell them about our discussions. But in a situation like this, when you're thinking about going somewhere and getting help, it certainly is maybe something to consider, to at least talk to your parents about it. How do you feel about your parents being involved?
I know I don't want to get them involved. I don't want them, they know that I drank, but they didn't know it was this bad. I don't want them to have to, I don't want them to be disappointed in me.
So you're worried about how it will affect your relationship. But I heard you talk a little bit about the fact that they were thinking about maybe telling you couldn't stay at home anymore. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I'm 18 now and I'm not really going anywhere with my life. After football, I kind of just let everything go. So,
So it sounds like you've been a little distraught about what will happen in your life without football.
definitely.
You know, I wonder if you're making some brave decisions here. I wonder, how your parents will react to that.
I guess you're right. Showing them that I'm making a change might have the opposite effect than I think it will.
Well, it's possible. There's probably only one way to find out, but it's certainly within the possibility that your parents will see that you're really trying to do some things that are going to make a difference.
Okay.
But it's ultimately up to you. You just have to decide how you want to approach it.
Okay. Let's and get my parents involved.
Okay. Well, listen, thank you so much for coming in. We're going to do, like I said, everything to move this process forward. And I'm going to follow up and stay involved. Even after you enter the program, I'm going to call in and just check over with them to make sure that you got in and everything's all right. And you have everything that you need from us so that the program, it'll be a smooth transition for you. All right?
Got it.
Thanks a lot. We'll get started on this right away.